I was halfway through wrapping my last Christmas gift when her name lit up my phone. Not a notification, not a memory, a real glowing call, right there on the screen. My hands froze midair, the tape stuck to my fingers, the cheap wrapping paper crumpled softly, making a sound that felt too loud in the quiet apartment. I stared at her name like it didn't belong there, like my phone had made a mistake. She hadn't existed in my world for 3 years, not since she walked out 2 days before Christmas, stood in my kitchen with her coat already on, eyes already distant, and told me she wasn't ready. Not ready for love, not ready for commitment, not ready for me. 3 years, 3 Christmases alone, 3 winters of pretending I had moved on. I should have let it ring. Instead, my thumb betrayed me. Hello? There was silence on the other end, just breathing, careful, hesitant, like she was deciding whether she had the right to speak at all. "Hey," she finally said, "it's me," as if I could ever forget. Her voice still did that thing, low, familiar, pulling at something deep in my chest that never really healed. I sat down slowly on the couch, my heart pounding harder with every second she didn't speak. "I won't keep you long," she said quickly. I need to ask you something." I closed my eyes. A favor. It was always a favor with her. "What do you need?" I asked, even though every instinct told me to hang up. She hesitated. I could hear it in her breathing. Then she said the words that cracked me straight down the middle. "I need you to pretend to be my fiancé, just for Christmas." I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it hurt too much not to. "You're kidding," I said, my voice sharp and broken. "You disappear for 3 years, and this is why you call?" "I know how it sounds," she whispered, "but my family thinks I'm engaged. They're expecting to meet you." I panicked. I didn't know who else to ask. I stood up, pacing the room. The Christmas lights on my window flickered softly, mocking me with their warmth. "You didn't know who else to ask?" I repeated. "You had 3 years to forget me." "I tried. I really did." That did it. The anger, the hurt, the memories I worked so hard to bury. "I can't do this," I said. "You broke me. You don't get to walk back into my life like nothing happened." "I know," she said quietly, "and if you say no, I'll understand." I hung up. No goodbye, no closure, just silence. I stood there, shaking, phone still in my hand, telling myself I had done the right thing, that Christmas would pass, that I'd survive another year without her. Then there was a knock on my door. Not loud, not urgent, familiar. My heart dropped into my stomach. I opened the door before logic could stop me. She stood there in the hallway, snow clinging to her coat, hair damp from the cold, eyes full of something that looked dangerously close to regret. She looked exactly the same, and nothing like the woman who left me. "I'm sorry," she said. "I shouldn't have come." I didn't answer. I didn't know where else to go. "I needed to see you." The hallway smelled like cold air and pine. Christmas music drifted faintly from somewhere downstairs. Everything felt surreal, like a memory replaying itself slightly wrong. "You should leave," I said. She nodded, didn't move. "My family arrives tomorrow. I'll be gone after Christmas, I swear." I searched her face, trying to find the lie, the manipulation, the selfishness I remembered. Instead, I saw fear. Against my better judgment, I stepped aside. 5 days, I said. "That's it." Her eyes widened. "You'll do it?" "I didn't say that," I replied. "You're sleeping on the couch. We set rules, and the moment this hurts me again, it's over." She nodded immediately. "Anything." As she stepped inside, the door closing behind her, I felt it. The same dangerous feeling I'd sworn I'd never let back in. Christmas hadn't even started yet, and I was already pretending. The drive to her family's house felt longer than it was. Snow dusted the edges of the road, Christmas lights blinking from porches like quiet witnesses. The radio played soft holiday music neither of us acknowledged. She drove. I stared out the window, watching my breath fog the glass, wondering how I had ended up here, sitting beside the woman who once shattered my heart, pretending to be engaged to her. "We should talk about boundaries," I finally said. She nodded without looking at me. "Of course." "No touching unless necessary," I continued. "No sharing a bed, no private conversations in closed rooms, and when Christmas is over, we go our separate ways. Clean." Her hands tightened slightly on the steering wheel. "Okay." The house came into view, warm lights, a wreath on the door, smoke rising gently from the chimney. It looked like a postcard. It looked nothing like my chest felt. The moment we stepped inside, everything changed. Her mother rushed toward us, eyes lighting up. "You must be her," she exclaimed, pulling me into a hug before I could react. "We've heard so much about you." I froze for half a second, then remembered my role. I smiled, returned the hug, felt my ex's hand settle lightly at my back, just enough to sell the lie. That touch did something dangerous to me. Dinner was loud, affectionate, overwhelming. Her family was kind in the way people are when they believe you belong. They asked about our story, how we met, when she proposed. She answered smoothly, confidently, like she'd rehearsed every word. I filled in the gaps when needed, surprised at how easily the lie rolled off my tongue. After dinner, we were cornered by her aunt, who smiled knowingly. "You two are adorable together," she said. "You can tell when something is real." I forced a laugh. That night, I stood in the guest room staring at the unfamiliar bed, my suitcase still unopened. The house was quiet now, wrapped in that soft Christmas hush. There was a knock. I opened the door to find her standing there, hands in her sweater sleeves, hair loose around her shoulders. She looked nervous, younger somehow, less like the woman who left me. "I just wanted to say thank you," she said. "I know this isn't easy." I crossed my arms. "Don't confuse cooperation with forgiveness." She nodded. "I won't." She turned to leave, then paused. "Good night." "Good night." I closed the door and leaned my forehead against it, heart racing. The next few days blurred together. Shopping trips, decorating cookies, family games by the fire, her arm around my waist when someone took photos, my hand in hers during grace. Every touch was supposed to be fake, but my body didn't remember the difference. One night, after everyone had gone to bed, I found her in the kitchen standing in front of the fridge, staring blankly. "Can't sleep?" I asked. She shook her head. "Too many thoughts." I poured myself water, leaned against the counter. Silence settled between us, thick with things unsaid. "Why did you really ask me? You could have hired someone, found anyone." She looked at me then, really looked. "Because I never stopped loving you." The words landed heavy. "That's not fair," I said quietly. "I know," she whispered, "but it's the truth." I stepped back. "You don't get to say that now, not after leaving." "You didn't leave because I didn't love you," she said, voice breaking. "I left because I was terrified of how much I did." I shook my head. "You should have trusted me." She agreed. Silence again, longer this time. "I won't cross any lines," she promised finally. "I just needed these few days to be honest." I nodded, though my heart didn't. Later that night, lying awake, I realized something terrifying. Pretending was becoming harder than the truth. Christmas lights glowed outside the window, snow falling softly, and for the first time in 3 years, I wasn't sure walking away was what I wanted anymore. The morning before Christmas Eve arrived quietly, like it was afraid to disturb whatever fragile balance had formed between us. I woke to the smell of coffee and cinnamon. For a moment, I forgot where I was. Then I remembered the guest room, the unfamiliar ceiling, the truth hiding behind holiday decorations. Downstairs, her family was already awake. Laughter drifted through the house. Someone was humming a Christmas song off-key. She stood at the kitchen island when I entered, wearing an oversized sweater, hair messy, mug warming her hands. She looked domestic, like a version of her life I'd never been allowed to touch before. "Morning," she said softly. "Morning." Her mother glanced between us, smiling. "You two are glowing. Must be love." I swallowed. She smiled back easily. Too easily. The day was busy, too busy for thinking. We helped prepare food, wrapped last-minute gifts, carried boxes of ornaments from the attic. At some point, her cousin arrived, tall, confident, openly flirtatious, and she noticed. She noticed the way her cousin laughed too loudly at my jokes, the way her eyes lingered on me, the way she leaned a little too close when we talked. I felt it the moment my ex stiffened beside me. Jealousy didn't look good on her. It looked vulnerable. That night, we all gathered in the living room, the fire crackling, drinks in hand. Someone suggested a game, truth or dare, because apparently adults forgot how embarrassing that could be. When it was my turn, her cousin smirked. "Truth, have you ever regretted falling in love?" The room quieted. I glanced at my ex. She froze. "Yes," I said honestly, "but I regret losing myself more." Her cousin raised an eyebrow. "Interesting." Later, as the night wound down, I found myself alone on the back porch, snow crunching beneath my boots, cold air biting my cheeks. She followed. "You didn't like that question," she said. "I didn't like your cousin." She huffed a quiet laugh. "She flirts with everyone." "Not with me," I snapped. Then softer, "I noticed." "So did I." Silence. "You don't get to be jealous," I said quietly. "This is pretend, remember?" Her voice dropped. "Is it?" That was the first crack. Christmas Eve arrived wrapped in tension. We went to church with her family. She sat beside me in the pew, knee brushing mine, fingers grazing my coat sleeve. Each accidental touch felt deliberate, dangerous. At dinner, her parents announced a toast. To us, to our future. I felt the room tilt. She squeezed my hand under the table just once, grounding, apologetic. That night, the house was louder than usual. Wine flowed, laughter echoed. At some point, someone assumed we were sharing a room. "No," she said quickly. "We're—" Her mother waved her off. "Oh, please, you're engaged." The guest room door closed behind us. The lie trapped us inside. "I can sleep on the floor," she offered immediately. I shook my head. "We'll manage." We stood there awkwardly, the bed between us like a confession. She changed, facing away. I pretended not to look. The lights went out. Darkness filled the room. "Why didn't you tell me you were hurting back then?" I asked quietly. She inhaled sharply. "Because I didn't know how to need someone without feeling weak. I left me without letting me choose." "I know." Silence stretched. "I was afraid you'd see me the way my family does. Capable, successful, but never enough." I turned toward her. "I loved you because you were human." She rolled onto her side, facing me. Our faces were inches apart. "I never stopped loving you," she said again, softer this time. "I just didn't believe I deserved you." My heart broke a little more. "I don't know if I can do this," I admitted. "I don't know if I can survive losing you again." "I'm not asking you to decide anything. Just don't shut me out yet." Snow fell out the window. Christmas lights blinked in the distance. And I didn't move away. Christmas morning came with chaos and warmth. We opened gifts beside each other, laughed, smiled for photos, played the role so convincingly it scared me. Her gift to me was small, thoughtful, something she remembered I loved. I stared at it, chest tight. "You remembered?" "Always," she said. After lunch, her father pulled me aside. "You make her softer, happier. Whatever you're doing, thank you." Guilt burned my throat. That evening, her cousin cornered me in the hallway. "You're not who they think you are," she said calmly. I stiffened. "Excuse me?" "You don't look like someone pretending. You look like someone terrified of wanting more." I said nothing. Later, I found my ex alone in the garden, snow clinging to her hair, breath visible in the cold. "She knows," I said. She nodded. I figured. "I can't keep lying," I whispered. "Not to them, not to myself." She stepped closer. "Then don't," she said. "I need to know, when this ends, are you going to disappear again?" Her eyes filled. "No." "You promise?" She reached for my hand. "I promise I won't run." I believed her. That was the moment everything shifted. Because pretending was no longer the hardest part. Telling the truth was. The truth didn't explode the way I thought it would. It seeped out quietly, like something that had been waiting for permission. It happened the afternoon after Christmas, when the house was tired from celebration. Wrapping paper still littered corners, leftover pie sat untouched on the counter. The warmth of the holiday had softened everyone, lowered their guard. Her mother was the first to notice. She watched us from the doorway as we stood in the kitchen, not touching, not speaking, yet somehow orbiting each other like gravity refused to let go. "You're not pretending," she said gently. The words landed heavy. I froze. My ex's shoulders stiffened. Her mother stepped closer, eyes kind but sharp. "I've seen fake love before," she continued. "This isn't that, but I've also seen fear." Silence filled the room. "I don't know what you think you're doing," she said softly, "but whatever it is, it matters." My chest tightened. I couldn't lie anymore. "I didn't come here to deceive you," I said, voice shaking. "I came because I was asked, and because I still care more than I should." My ex turned toward me, eyes wide. "You don't have to—" "Yes," I said, "I do." Her mother didn't interrupt. She just listened. "We were together years ago. She left. I never stopped loving her, but I don't know if love is enough when trust has already been broken." Her mother exhaled slowly. "Thank you for telling me." She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She simply nodded. Later that evening, the house buzzed with whispers. Nothing loud, nothing dramatic, just the shift that happens when truth enters a space built on assumption. Her father asked her to talk. I stayed behind, heart pounding, hands trembling as I stood alone in the guest room. When she returned, her eyes were red. "They know," she said quietly. "And?" I asked. "They're disappointed," she admitted. "Not in you, in me, for lying, for running from my own feelings." I swallowed. "I didn't want to hurt them." "You didn't. I did." The weight of it finally broke her. She sat on the edge of the bed, hands shaking. "I thought pretending would protect everyone," she whispered. "I didn't realize it would just reopen everything." I sat beside her, close but not touching. "I loved you when you left, but I learned how to survive without you." She looked at me, pain carved deep into her face. "I don't want to be someone you survive." "I don't know if I can be brave again," I admitted. "You broke something in me." She nodded. "I know." The silence that followed was heavier than any argument. Then she reached for my hand. This time, I didn't pull away. "I'm not asking you to forgive me today or tomorrow. I just want the chance to earn back the woman I lost." My breath caught. "You don't get to ask for guarantees," I whispered. I know, she said. I just want to show you I've changed. Later that evening, we walked outside together. Snow fell quietly, soft and relentless. The world felt paused. I used to think love meant control, having everything planned, protected. And now? I asked. Now I think love is choosing someone even when it terrifies you. She stopped walking. I stopped too. She turned toward me, face lit by the glow of the porch light. I can't keep pretending anymore, not with you. My heart raced. Then don't, I whispered. Her hand brushed my cheek, tentative, unsure. If you tell me to stop, I will. I didn't. Her lips met mine slowly, reverently, like she was asking permission with every breath. The kiss wasn't desperate, it wasn't rushed, it was honest. I pulled back first, forehead resting against hers, tears burning my eyes. This doesn't fix everything, I said. I know, she replied, but it's real. Inside, the house settled, conversations hushed, the world moved forward. But outside, in the falling snow, we stood between what had been and what could be. And for the first time, I wasn't pretending anymore. The morning after the truth felt different. Not lighter, not easier, just honest. I woke before the house, the sky outside still pale and undecided. Snow covered the ground like a quiet promise. For the first time since she'd asked me to pretend, my chest didn't feel tight with performance. There was nothing left to act out. I found her in the kitchen, already awake, staring into her coffee like it held answers. "Morning," I said. She looked up, tentative. "Morning." We stood there for a moment, two people who knew too much now to hide behind small talk. "I should probably leave today," I said gently. "Give everyone space." Her face tightened. "If that's what you need." "It is," I admitted, "but not because I'm running." She nodded. "I won't chase you." I smiled softly. "That's good. I don't want to be chased. I want to be chosen." Her breath hitched. Later that morning, her parents gathered us in the living room. No anger, no interrogation, just honesty. "We don't need you to be perfect," her father said. "We need you to be real." Her mother looked at me. "And we need you to know you're welcome here, whether or not this works out." Tears burned my eyes. I hadn't realized how much I needed to hear that. When I packed my suitcase, she stood in the doorway, silent. At the door, she finally spoke. "I don't expect you to stay. I just need you to know something." I turned. "For the first time in my life," she said, voice steady but fragile, "I'm not choosing safety. I'm choosing truth, even if it costs me everything." I stepped closer, resting my forehead against hers. "Then start by choosing yourself," I whispered. "The rest will come if it's meant to." She nodded. We hugged, long, tight, no pretending. I left. The days after Christmas were quiet, too quiet. I returned to my life, my apartment, my routines, the job I'd kept because it paid the bills, not because it fed my soul. She didn't call, and oddly, that mattered, because it meant she was respecting the space I asked for. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed. A message. Not an apology, not a plea, just a photo. Her standing in an empty office, boxes stacked behind her. Caption, "I resigned today, not for you, for me." My heart stuttered. I didn't reply right away. I needed to be sure. 3 weeks passed. Then one evening, I came home to find her sitting on the steps outside my building, snow falling softly around her. No flowers, no dramatic speech, just her. "I know I said I wouldn't chase," she said quietly, "so I won't ask you to decide anything tonight." I folded my arms. "Then why are you here?" "Because love doesn't beg, it shows up and waits." Silence stretched between us. I'm not the woman who ran anymore. I'm not asking for the past back. I'm asking for the chance to build something new, slowly, honestly. I studied her face. The fear was still there, but so was the courage. I won't give you everything at once, I said. I won't disappear into you. I don't want that, she replied. I want you whole. That was the moment. Not the kiss, not the confession. The moment I realized love didn't need to be loud to be real. Come inside, I said. We didn't rush. We talked, we argued, we laughed. We rebuilt brick by fragile brick. Months later, the next Christmas came quietly. No pretending, no roles. Just two women choosing each other. Not because it was easy, but because it was honest. And this time, when she reached for my hand, I didn't wonder if she'd let go.